Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Pragya, the moderator of this call. Thank you for standing by and welcome to the live webinar on the topic of best practices of outsourcing IT infrastructure in association with HP and CMR under the banner of Be Unstoppable Knowledge Platform. In today's webinar, we discuss Be Unstoppable by outsourcing non-critical components of your business. For the duration of presentation, all participants' lines will be in listen-only mode. We will have a question and answer session post the presentation. I would like to now hand over the conference to our first speaker, Mr. Anil Chopra, VP, Research and Consulting, CMR, who will share his insight. Over to you, Mr. Chopra.
Thanks, Pragyat, and good afternoon, everybody. Thanks a lot for joining us in on this yet another series of the Be Unstoppable series of webinars. I really appreciate you could take out time. So basically, I want to spend a few minutes to kind of take you through what the Be Unstoppable initiative is all about, and give you an overview of that, and then we'll get into the actual presentation of the next in series of this entire initiative that we have created. So essentially, this is an initiative which is aimed at celebrating entrepreneurship, developing skill sets in various areas. For whether it's for business and strategy or whether it's for skills and knowledge across different functions, or it's finance, or it's any kind of mentoring advice. So that's what this initiative is all about. And before I kind of talk about that, let me just look at what's really happening in the market today. If you look at it, that the tech spending in the market has gone up, and according to experts, it's expected to see some 6.7% growth in IT spending and touch about $89 billion by this year, which is very, very encouraging that this IT spending is going up. That means people are realizing and understanding the value that IT really plays in any organization. The other is that the growth that we're seeing is not just in IT spending. The growth is also happening across businesses. And the good news is that, the top 10 fastest growing cities in terms of GDP, between this year and up to 2035 are all based out of India, according to a research report. So actually growth has moved beyond the metros, if I look at. Another very, very encouraging sign that companies are looking at an upward path. The other is that the small and medium enterprises in India, which are actually the growth for the country, contributing a significant amount to the country's GDP, they're obviously growing. And if you look at beyond metros, a major chunk of them are going to be SMEs. And there are some 49 different types of industry clusters which are going to be the growth hotspots. And they'll contribute close to 77% of India's incremental GDP growth. That is the kind of growth that we're really seeing. But of course, as far as besides this growth, there are a lot of challenges that are associated with this growth, because there are a lot of constraints that these businesses face in terms of lack of knowledge, financial advice, the relevant skill sets, not just for IT, but beyond IT into other functions as well, whether it's HR, finance, marketing, sales, and so on and so forth. Obviously, mentorship, the right kind of mentorship is something that can always be is always welcome, and that's a challenge that many of them face. Of course, resources in terms of the infrastructure, availability, and all are also some of the constraints that really exist today. So despite that, we are seeing growth, which is very, very encouraging sign. So I imagine that if some of these challenges are taken care of, the growth could actually increase multifold as according besides what we've already seen. So obviously there is a need now to kind of enable this growth engine and provide the relevant knowledge, skills, mentorship across the challenges and kind of address those challenges so that, these businesses can actually be unstoppable, which is what actually this whole initiative is all about. And, the Be Unstoppable, it's actually an initiative which comprises of a knowledge platform. It comprises of a number of roadshows. It comprises of a series of webinars. I believe this is the 7th webinar that we're doing as a part of this series. And in the previous 6, we have covered a wide number of topics related to IT and finance. And this is the 7th one. And, it's been very, very successful till now. We've got a lot of encouraging response from all of you who have kind of been attending this, who are attending this webinar. So thanks a lot for that. And of course, there's mentorship by experts who are coming in. We have actually a platform which is a web portal which has a lot of mentors on it. I'd encourage you to look at it. Once I end my presentation, you'll be able to see the link. So go ahead and register yourself over there. And there we have many, many mentors on board and on various areas. So if you have any questions, you could actually post them to us, and we will get you connected with the mentor or get your query answered by the mentor. I did mention about the roadshow, so a number of events and workshops have already happened also. We had gone to Delhi, Mumbai, Coimbatore, Ahmedabad. So multiple cities we have actually already been to, and where we had many, very, very marquee speakers who have actually been entrepreneurs, who are big-time entrepreneurs who have kind of been very, very successful in their journey. And we asked them to come and share their journey and talk about the challenges that they faced for the benefit of all the attendees. Plus, there's a rewards and recognition program. So, of course, it's not just about addressing challenges like a one-way traffic, but it's actually two-way, where we'd like to understand from your side as to what are some of your achievements. And then we intend to recognize them at the end of this financial year to identify the top SMEs in the country in terms of their achievements. And we're not just doing this alone. This, of course, is powered by HP, but we have many other partners on board. We have Tally to look at the GST side of things. We have Freshworks to look at the customer support side of things. We have Kotak Mahindra Bank, who is actually providing the financial advice about to those who need it. And, of course, whether it's a business owner or a functional head or an IT head or manager, there is something in it for everybody. So it's a big initiative. So far, we've received very, very encouraging response, which is good. We really appreciate that, and I do hope that you continue joining us as a part of this platform, and share your views or interact with us, and look at the things that we're doing, and give us some feedback so that it helps us actually enhance the this platform further. So that's all I had to say from my side. Of course, this is just a sample slide that talks about some of the types of content that we've already put up on our the portal for Unstoppable, and we will continue doing that on a regular basis. So this is, whether it's videos or white papers or ebooks, regular articles, and number of things. We keep continuously keep putting it up on this portal for your benefit. And so please do go through it and just send us your feedback. And in case there is any request, a particular type of request for us to carry anything that would be of interest to you, that would actually help you enhance your skills, do keep us updated. We'll be very, very happy to kind of take that up and try to provide you the required content that can help you enhance your skills. So that's all from my side. Here is the link. It's called unstoppablebiz.com. It's obviously it's a secure site, so that's why HTTPS. Do not use HTTP alone. Use the S part, and you'll be able to access the site. Please come and register there and view the content and share your thoughts with us on what you think about it and what would be your requests. So we look forward to interacting with you on this platform. So that's it from my side. Thanks a lot for listening to me patiently, and have a wonderful day ahead. I'll hand it over to Pragyat, who can then transfer it to the next speaker. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Chopra, for setting up the platform for today's webinar. Now it's my pleasure to introduce you to the next speaker, Mr. Bharat Dhaka, National Sales Manager, HP Inc., and he will share his insights. Over to you, Mr. Dhaka.
Thanks, Pragyat. Just one second, let me just share my presentation. So good afternoon, everyone. I'm Bharat. I manage EMPS business, which is basically channel-led MPS business for HP. And I also take care of HP's A3 print category. Now, what I'm going to discuss over the next 20-25 minutes are best practices around outsourcing of IT infrastructure. During my presentation, I'm going to tell you what typically are the different scenarios under which outsourcing of IT infrastructure makes more sense. What are the different ways of approaching this? And what are the key stakeholders that you have during this transformation? While I discuss all this, it will be more towards printing side of the business, right? Since HP is market leader, not just in India, but worldwide. On printing, I'll have a lot of relevant experience. I have a lot of relevant experience and examples which are related to the print side of the business. So what is really changing in today's work environment? If you see, there are basically three important significant changes that are happening. First, the innovations are changing. The people who work today in office, that composition is changing. And the changing workspace, the environment around us is changing. Let me just briefly explain you what I mean by all these three big changes. First is the innovation. Today, innovation is changing at a pace which history has never seen before. Things become obsolete at extremely fast pace. Now, what it means for an organization, and especially small SOHO-size organization, is a lot of investment. It is becoming more and more difficult to invest in these new technologies. Also, considering the life of the technology the shelf life is extremely small, which means you'll have to keep inventing and investing more and more into these technologies. Times is not possible for organizations which are not too big in size. Second is the workforce of the organization is changing today. More and more younger people are joining us. According to our study, around 20-25% of people today are millennials, and this percentage will only increase. By 2025, almost 45% of the workforce will be millennials. And these guys have different set of expectations and aspirations. They want to work with new technologies. The divide between your workspace and your personal space is diminishing. There's a big overlap between what you do, the device that you use in office and the device that you use in home are becoming common. And hence, it's also a signature that you carry, your signature that you carry with you. So you want something which is trendy, which is easy, right, which is portable, which works in different time zones, and a device which can work both in office environment and at home. Now, this typically means to keep these guys motivated, you will have to invest more in IT and IT infrastructure. The third major change is the changing workspace, right? We all are aware of places like which are co-sharing workspaces. We have organizations like WeWork, where people from different offices work on the same floor in the same environment, which means the IT infrastructure that you have is not just being used for your office, but it is being used by the same infrastructure is being used by different organizations. So all these three things are bringing significant change in the way we consume IT and IT infrastructure. While the customer is expecting new and differentiated product offering from IT, basically for the IT guy, the challenges still remain. Security is becoming more and more important. We all are aware of why security is so important. Every second day there is an article or incident which talks about security failure and how it significantly contributed or increased the expense of the organization. The device life cycles are diminishing. The same point which I mentioned earlier, the technology is advancing at such a pace that the device life, the technology life, shelf life is becoming more and more shorter. The investment, every organization wants to invest in their core strength. Hence, the budgets are always diminishing for IT. We are talking about a scenario which is like lights on, the basic essential minimum expense which an organization can give towards IT. So people want to reduce their expense on IT and put their money behind their core competency. And also enabling business growth. Things like CRM, how to reach customers smartly with fewer dollars being spent, how to touch customer more efficiently are becoming more important. All this is significantly putting huge pressure on IT managers. Whereas for end customers, he wants diversity in devices. He wants personal and professional, same device being used both for his personal and professional life. And he wants always on, anytime device which can work in different time zones. So this is a real big challenge which is emerging today for our IT managers. So there's a digital transformation which is happening in our workspace. Security is becoming more and more important, right? We want the predictability, providing low cost and more predictable cost infrastructure is becoming more important, right? You want Internet of Things is the next big thing which is knocking our doors. So your employees are going to ask for Internet of Things. They're going to ask for more security because the same device is being used not just in office, but also in personal life. So security today is no longer just confined to office. He also carries those secure documents, customer database to his home. Big data is something which is emerging as a significant player. And what we're going to see over the next couple of years is organizations which invest in big data, hence their ability to understand about customers, about their products being used by customers is going to become a key differentiator in the success. Everything is on the cloud. There's another big transformation that is happening today. Everything on the cloud means security becomes all the more important. Today, security is not just confined to your office. The device gets carried to home. The information is on the cloud, and hence it becomes extremely important. And this security is not just confined to the PCs, it's also extremely relevant to the printers. A lot of people, when I meet customers, their perception about security is that it's important for desktop and laptop to be secured, or the servers, or the network. But that's not true. Even a printer, because look at the printer infrastructure. It has a motherboard, it has an operating system, it has a hard disk, and it has a network port. Same as your PC or your laptop or your server. Hence, your security is not just confined to IT products, meaning laptop and desktop and servers. It is also important for the printer infrastructure that you have around you. Why do companies consider outsourcing IT? There are a couple of 5 key important points for an organization to consider outsourcing their IT infrastructure. A, it can give them competitive advantage and latest technology. Now, when I outsource my IT, I call in a professional organization which understands the technology, which means it leaves me with greater bandwidth to concentrate on my core competency. For me to go and win my customers is more important. For me to go and service my customers is more important. If I can leave the IT infrastructure to someone else who can manage it for me the way I want with optimized cost becomes extremely important. And that is where outsourcing in IT comes in. It helps you to focus on rapid growing areas. Any transformation sucks up a lot of bandwidth for organizations. If I can free up my bandwidth and focus on my growth areas and ask someone to do it, who specialize in that particular technology, is a key differentiator or factor which drives IT outsourcing. It can simplify operations and cost controls. Again, very important. It can reduce costs and focus on new IT infrastructure. As I mentioned, since IT is changing faster, outsourcing can help me to replace my product or ask for a refresh at a faster pace. Typically, these IT outsourcing projects or contracts will be for a duration of 3 to 5 years, which means after every 5 years, I get a new product or a new technology. My ability to adopt new technology is much faster when my IT infrastructure is outsourced versus when I invest my own money, own dollars in sourcing that IT infrastructure. I can control my cost better, and I can have a renewed focus on IT. The last point is on-demand service. What we internally at HP call it as managed print services or device as a service. If tomorrow you have a new project which you have added, which you've acquired, and you want to quickly scale up, you want to have 50 new people joining in for a project which is going to last for, say, 12 months, 18 months, 2 years, you don't have to invest in that infrastructure. You can simply outsource that IT infrastructure. Someone else will buy product for you and deploy it in your scenario and make it work the way you want it to work. Hence, IT becomes on demand. You don't have to recruit additional IT managers. You don't have to buy new infrastructure when you know that that project is only going to be for 12 months, 18 months, 2 years, 5 years, because you can quickly outsource it and it's big. There are 3 key components you should always consider while going for IT outsourcing. First is defining goals and scope, and this becomes the most important thing. You have to define, plan, what exactly are you trying to achieve. Is cost optimization the most important thing for you? Is on-demand becomes more important for you? Or is it you want to free up your bandwidth, resources, and deploy it in your core competency? It becomes extremely important. Second is assessing organizational impact. Every organization has its own culture and way of working. Just because you are convinced on IT outsourcing does not necessarily mean that everyone is on board. Hence, it becomes important for you to build an opinion around the organization, understand the pitfalls, what it takes for organization to adopt outsourcing, and then only venture into it. And third and finally, the vendor selection. Your implementation will be as good as your ability to select a good, competent vendor who's going to do all this for you. During our experience and when we talk to our customers, extremely important is bringing all stakeholders on board. And when I say on all stakeholders, I just don't mean top management, but also the end user. A lot of good, successful IT infrastructure and projects get failed or are not accepted well just because the user is not happy. There's an inertia and the guy doesn't want to change, right? So you want to be very clear that you have people willing to accept that change and are completely onboarded before you venture into any such project. Again, going into each of these 3 points, defining goals and scope, define your needs and scopes and articulate it well. Clear, measurable goals are very important. List down why you want to do it. What are your key things which are driving you towards outsourcing? Just because everyone else is outsourcing, it doesn't mean you have to do it. Is it aligned with your goals? What are the key success factors for all stakeholders in it? What do you have for the top management in it? What do you have for the finance guy in it? What do you have for your customer? Once you have defined all this and it becomes a winning proposition, only then it makes sense for you to go into this outsourcing model. Organizational impact, I already explained this. Get people on board. Minimize negative impact. Communicate early and communicate well. It should be well articulated what are the reasons for you to change this and how will it impact them positively. It becomes extremely important. Build bridges, build sponsorships across your organization. Get sponsors at all different levels for this change. Vendor selection. When you're selecting vendor, surely cost should not be the most important factor. It should be the cultural and organizational fit. What do I expect? Are my locations remote? Do I have presence only in metros? What kind of a user I have? Do I have more IT requirement? Do I have people who need more training? So you'll have to evaluate all different things. Only then you should come at vendor selection. Try to keep not many vendors for your IT requirement. You need a guy who can deliver you outsourcing, not just at the client-side computing, but also the back-end computing, which means right from your data centers, networking, to your client side, the device that sits on your lap, the device that sits on your desk, the printer in the office, everything the vendor should be able to manage. More number of vendors you have, things will start falling between the cracks. So what is the business impact for you? And what are the key priorities? Which typically, when we talk to our customers, there are typically 5 things that come out very clearly. First is reducing cost. And the example that I'm mentioning here are more print related. So typically with outsourcing, our customers look for around 25 to 30% reduction in print expense, and it is possible. They expect increased productivity, which means they look for device and services which can help your employees to increase their productivity. Security becomes very, very important. As I mentioned earlier, security is not just confined to PC side of devices, it's also important on the print side, and hence security becomes extremely important. In fact, a couple of biggest security breaches that we have seen originated from the printing device, because printer as a device has lower standards of security. HP is one organization which invests hugely on security, and we ensure that every device that we ship to our customers, irrespective of whether it's a backend device or a customer-facing device, are completely secured. Sustainability, not so important in India, but gradually catching up. People are looking at reducing waste, reducing expense, energy consumption. And HP has technology and products which have substantially lower carbon footprint versus other brands. And they look for innovation in the product. They have a customer, they have an employee who are extremely IT savvy. They want to use the latest trend in technology, and hence it becomes important for them to partner with an organization which gives them not just cost reductions, but also state-of-art products, which make their office more productive, secured, and sustainable. Now, typically in an office environment, your total expense of printing, which means your hardware and supplies, and as I say supplies, I mean the ink, the toner, and page, is only 6.6% of the total printing cost. The real cost around printing comes from managing it and managing workflows. If you can have a system where the printer talks to the PC, not just in terms of transferring files from your PC to your printer, but also if you can manage workflows, it can substantially reduce your total cost of printing in an office environment. So print itself, printing the page, is only 6% of the total cost. The real hidden cost around print is with manageability and managing the workflows. What we internally call it as a document management, right? Hence, it becomes extremely important for you to manage the total cost and not just look at the cost per page. Let me give you a small example. Often, you fire a print from your PC and you forget to go and collect it from the printer, right? I'm sure that happens with everyone. After a couple of hours, you realize that you haven't collected it. By the time you go to the printer, it's not there, it's missing. Someone else has walked away with it, or someone has just thrown it in the bin, right? And hence, what do? You go back and you fire one more print. Now, there's additional cost. For HP, at HP, how do we minimize this? We have secure print, which means every time you print, you put in a password to it. It can be a simple 4-letter PIN. You go to the printer, your job is stored in the printer, you put the password, and the printer comes to you. It makes it confidential, which means your documents will only be printed when you are standing next to the printer. It also minimizes waste of print. So these are small things, but very effective ways of reducing your cost of print. But what you need to do is select a vendor who understands and has the domain expertise. What are the business impacts for you? It automates. So HP helps you in automating your printing environment, what we call it as managed print services. We help you in reducing your cost, increasing productivity. We give you mobility. Now, someone might ask, how do you make printing more mobile? In HP, you can fire a print from your mobile phone. From a smartphone, you can fire a print to your printer. Even if you're in office and you want to fire something at home, you just send email to the printer. Printer has an IP. He understands there's a mail which is coming, and as soon as that mail comes, the mail gets printed. You can choose whether you want to print the attachment or you want to print the mail body of the mail, and the printer prints it for you. It gives you global connectivity. At HP, we do not have different driver for different printers. We have a universal driver, which means across the world, wherever you are, as long as in an IT infrastructure which is HP backed, you can use the same drivers to print anywhere in the world. Managed print services from HP, we help you in managing change. As and when the technology becomes obsolete, there's a new technology, we come back and we replace your printers. We give you data protection. We work in a very transparent way, right? Which means you have complete access to the printouts, how many color, how many mono, which department is printing what, how can you minimize cost, how many printouts, which file gets printed, everything can be managed. And thereby, we reduce your cost of printing. What are the different solutions that we have? We have managed print service. Managed print service is not just giving you the printer, we also give you the software, the security suite around it, and the network which helps you in effectively using your print. We give you complete range of solutions, which is basically security and managing your fleet. We give you printers which have lower carbon footprint and a differentiated product. So how can we take you through this path? First is having a strategic conversation. It is important for us to understand our customer's requirement. No two requirements are absolutely same. Every customer has a different pain point and there's a different solution to help him. And hence it becomes important for HP to understand what exactly you expect from print outsourcing. We have specialists all across the country who sit with customers, who see their real user scenarios, recommend solutions, and then we work with you right from scoping the total requirement to taking you through the journey where you transit from the current infrastructure to the new infrastructure, educate your users, train them, and see how the journey is progressing. We do assessments, and we also have partners across the country. We just don't work directly with our customers. We also have network of our partners. These are specialized partners. They work with our customers and using our expertise to serve you. So for HP, there's a modular approach in MPS, which is Managed Print Services. We design the infrastructure for you, right? So we have workshops where we educate our customers on what exactly are the different solutions that HP can suggest. We do an assessment of customer requirement. We suggest both hardware and software. Good thing with HP is we are just not a hardware company. We are also a software company. We are not just a PC company. We are also a print company, right? So we understand and we can help our customers across all these combinations. We also have financial solutions. So we have a division within HP which is called HP Financial Services. We can give you both CAPEX as well as OPEX solutions, financial lease as well as operational lease. And we have contacts across the country. We help you in transition from the current infrastructure to the new infrastructure. And also, if you want to retain the current infrastructure and to build on top of it, we can help you in integrating both these solutions. We give you service support. We give you preventive maintenance, remote manageability. We also give you supplies. So our printers are smart. They talk to us. They tell us when the supplies are going down. And before they finish, there's a new toner, new cartridge which comes to your doorstep. We give you software maintenance. We also help you in change management. And we manage the end life cycle of the entire product range. Now, what I'm showing you here is IDC. IDC does this survey, and the last one that they did was in 2017, the one which I have. HP clearly is market leader when it comes to capabilities, capacity, and also the strategy. So we lead the market when it comes to our expertise around implementing these changes for our customers. And this is not just in India, but across the globe. At HP, every product category that we operate in, we are market leaders, and we take a lot of pride in it. Whether it's commercial PCs, consumer PCs, commercial notebooks, consumer notebooks, workstation, A4 printers, we are market leader in virtually everything that we operate in. Now, what it means for our customers, it means you are building a relationship with a vendor who's of choice for everyone across the country and the globe. And that should give, to my mind, it gives a lot of confidence to our customers because they're working with an organization which has market dominance. We have top ratings when it comes to customer satisfaction. We have presence across the country. So for an organization which has presence in India but has aspirations to grow outside India, we can continue the same relationship and partnerships across the globe. We are not new in this. We've been doing this for 30 years, and we are doing this for 30 years being market leaders. We have more than 6,000 managed print customers across the globe, which is a very big number. So we have 6,000 customers who trust us and have been giving us their contract year on year. We have awards, not just in the country, but again from across the globe, and we have 10 lakh devices which are connected under managed print service. Now, this is a manifestation of the trust that our customers show in HP. Net Promoter Score. So this is basically the difference between people who want to buy from you, who want to recommend you, minus people who do not want to recommend you. So clearly, HP is market leader. And these are not HP surveys. These are independent body surveys which rate HP as far superior than a lot of our competitors. And we have customer testimonies from virtually every different segment in the industry. And good thing with HP is we are not just confined to one particular industry. We have leadership across all industries. What it means, we understand healthcare, insurance, pharmaceutical, financial, all these verticals and industries much better than anyone else. So before I end, I just wanted to play a small video which can basically help you understand. And it's typically the setup is these are small organizations, SMB profile organizations, and how contractual printing can be extremely relevant in such a scenario. So if I can just request Priya to play the video.
बॉस के भेजे में बॉस के भेजे में
महान आत्मा 2 घंटे का लंच और दिन में 5 सुट्टा ब्रेक। अरे अपने फेफड़ों की चिंता नहीं है तो मेरे बिजनेस की तो कर ले।
बॉस के भेजे में एक ही चर्चा, बॉस के भेजे में एक ही चर्चा।
भर लो कॉफी की बाल्टियां, ये कॉफी मशीन थोड़े ही है, ये तो म्यूनिसिपैलिटी का नल है। इससे अच्छा तो मैं कॉफी का बिजनेस ही खोल लेता।
बॉस के भेजे में एक ही चर्चा, ऑफिस का खर्चा, ऑफिस का खर्चा।
प्रभु, ये नई एचआर टीम लुटवाएगी, नवाब हैं। कलर प्रिंट वो भी A3 में छपवाएगी, छपो और छपो। अब ये नया प्रिंटर कब लिया हमने? अच्छा भला तो चल रहा था पुराना वाला, माना आवाज करता था, थोड़ा स्लो था, सर्विस मांगता था, लेकिन लॉयल्टी भी तो कोई चीज होती है।
सर, नए का मतलब हमेशा खर्चा नहीं होता।
क्या है?
नया है बट लीज पर है, जितना प्रिंट उतना खर्चा।
लीज पर
ऑफिस का खर्चा ऑफिस का खर्चा ऑफिस का खर्चा।
जे बात मतलब नो कैपेक्स, ओनली थोड़ा थोड़ा ऑपएक्स। शानदार। फ्रेंड्स, हम सबके मोटिवेशन के लिए हमारे नए A3 प्रिंटर से निकले ये पोस्टर्स। कम ऑन नाउ, टेल मी हु इज मोटिवेटेड।
बढ़ते बिजनेस को चाहिए बढ़िया प्रिंटर।
So that was a small video on relevance of contractual printing in a typical SMB setup. So guys, this is what I had on IT outsourcing. Thank you so much for showing interest in this. Any questions, I'll be happy to take it up. And with this, I'll hand it over back to Priya.
Thank you, Mr. Zakov, for those insightful. Participants, if you wish to ask any question, please post your questions over the chat appearing on the right side of your window. I would request all the participants, if you wish to ask any question, please post your questions over the chat appearing on the right side of your window. Over to you, Mr.
Yeah, thanks, Pragyat. And hey, thanks, Bharat, for that nice presentation. The video was pretty much self-explanatory in terms of outsourcing infrastructure and some of the changes that you described in the beginning and how that is leading to the need for outsourcing. I think it's very, very nicely illustrated. But yeah, there are a couple of questions I thought I'll check with you. Why does really security, become important when you look at all of this, when you talk about all the outsourcing and be able to do that? So what is there about security? Yeah.
Correct. Security is becoming more and more important. The world that we live in, data is becoming extremely important. And today, data is no longer just the physical data. It's no longer the pages or the printouts that you have in your office. Most of our data, and especially the confidential data that we have, is typically in electronic format. It is in your phone, it is in your PC devices, it's on the cloud. And today, the difference between organizations which are successful and organizations which are not successful, the key difference is their ability to understand and interpret data. That's becoming more and more competitive lever. And hence, security becomes very important. Now, imagine a scenario where your most confidential data is on the cloud. If you're not working with a vendor which promises you security, you are open for that data theft. Now, how do you minimize it? It's important for you to have network secured, your PC secured, your printers secured, and your servers and your entire infrastructure secured. You need devices which are not just secured in office environment, but are also secured once your user or your employee takes that device to a home setting. And hence, security becomes important. At HP, every device that we ship to our customers, we make sure it has security built in. We build security around the device, around the ports, around the network, around the cloud, and everything becomes a secured, closed environment within HP. And a lot of organizations are realizing why it's so important for them. It's not just the financial institutes which are worried about security, but even small organizations like medical hospitals. Customer confidential data is becoming more and more important, right? And hence, for HP, it's important that every device should be secured. I hope I've answered your question.
Yeah, I think you're very right today in terms of security. Why leave anything out? Because data, as it becomes more digitized, there is greater chances of threat. The footprint has increased. So I think security becomes relevant across any device. Anything can be vulnerable today. So yeah, you're right. But how does really the outsourcing this actually enhances productivity in the organization?
Can you just repeat that question? Sorry.
Yeah. So what I was saying was that, while outsourcing and all, it sounds like sounds very, very lucrative and interesting, but how does it actually, is there any impact on productivity enhancement in the organization? How does it really impact productivity?
See, our studies tell us that with outsourcing, organizations' ability to concentrate and put that finite resources that every organization has into more meaningful stuff, things that give them competitive advantage, things that help them to win their customers, things which help organizations to serve their customers better. It increases. It also gives them an opportunity to scale up and scale down pretty fast. It also helps them to bring expertise which are difficult to acquire and nourish within the organization, right? So the barriers that we had, the expertise or the capabilities that organizations build during their lifetime, all that, those barriers, they shrink. And you can quickly go to market, pick up key technologies, use outsourcing model to get them within the organization. And all this leads to increase in productivity. Whether it is CRM solutions, whether it is data management or IT infrastructure, everything can work better and help in increasing productivity using outsourcing.
Okay. So there is also a very specific question. I did see some slide, at least your last slide, where you talked about comparison of HP with many other players. But somebody is actually asking a very specific question about how does HP differ from Xerox?
Okay. See, Xerox is a printing organization. Their core competency is print. They have expertise around extremely large format printing. Whereas with HP, the advantage is that we are not just a printing organization, we are also a PC organization. We just don't print, build printers which are high volume printers. We also build printers which are small in size, which can sit on your desktop, can be at your home, or can be in your office environment, which means the synergy or the ease with which you can work both in office and at home is much better. We build devices which are secured, which we have already discussed a couple of times. Because of the footprint that we have across countries and the customer relationships that we have, the expertise that we gather because of that are enormous. If you look in terms of market share, HP clearly is market leader, and our leadership over Xerox is not just a few percentage points. It's in fact, it's few multiples, right? Our laser market shares in the country are more than 60%. Our A3 leadership in this country is approximately twice of what Xerox is. So clearly, when it comes to product, when it comes to making a printer work in different environments, different printers that we create, security that we build around our printers, and the customer footprint that we have, we are way, way ahead of Xerox.
Okay, thanks a lot. I hope that answers the question of the attendee. I think there is somebody also who requested if we can share the presentation. So we will definitely try to share whatever is possible with all of you once this webinar is over. So that should not be a problem, but we'll see what all can be shared.
Sure.
So Bharat, coming back to you, you did mention, how it can, you did mention cost reduction and how outsourcing can actually help you reduce cost. But do you want to kind of talk about that a little more as to what kind of cost reduction are we really talking about here?
So typically what we've seen is a customer who has decent size, customer having decent printing requirements. For such customers, your saving can be anywhere between 20% to 35%. And when I say 25 to 30%, this is just in terms of your printing cost. If you can integrate workflows along with it, your savings can be further enhanced. So it basically depends how you're using your printing, how you're using your printer currently, how is your infrastructure ready in terms of workflows, and if everything can be integrated, your savings can be upward of 35%.
Oh, that's quite significant, and absolutely I hope that people who are listening in maybe may want to know more. So please do post your queries to us if you want to know how that really works out. I'm sure that Bharat, you'll be able to share
Sure.
if somebody wants to know, right?
Correct. So we'll be more than happy to engage with any customer who wants to know more about this.
Perfect. Somebody has asked a question about what about laser tank printer? Now, I'm not sure what that means, but I'm just reading it as it is. So I don't know if you can make out of that.
So HP very recently we launched a product which is called Laser Tank. Basically, these are printers which are for printing requirements which are anywhere around 5,000 to not 5,000 around 2,000 3,000 pages a month. So these are not very heavy duty printers. They are for moderate requirement around print. It's a new technology from HP and it's very convenient for our customers to get supplies, and it's very affordable printing. But it is for home use and it is for SMB customers. It's not a printer which gives you workflow integration, but as a standalone printer, it's a great product.
Okay. Thanks for that. Now, we discussed so many benefits and productivity and cost and security about, outsourcing. But finally, what are some of the pitfalls or risks that one can expect out of doing this or to avoid?
See, a lot of people venture into outsourcing just keeping cost reduction in mind. Cost surely is one of the important things that outsourcing can bring in. But more important than that is your ability to put your resources which are important to you and outsource everything else which is non-core function for you. So it's important for our customers to realize that outsourcing is not just a plain cost-cutting exercise. It's also very important for you to bring all different stakeholders on board before you venture into it, which means the top management, the user groups, and you should have sufficient sponsors within the organization across all different levels. Till you build that trust and you build that confidence and advocates of change, what we've seen is the transition from IT own infrastructure versus outsourcing infrastructure. Organizations do not fully realize the potential of outsourcing it.
Okay, thanks. So, are there any more questions? If there are any, kindly post them now, because we are nearing the end of the webinar time. So, if there are any last-minute questions, please post them now. We'll wait for a few seconds, to see your questions if you have any, to answer them.
Participants, if you wish to ask any question, please post your questions over the chat. At this time, there are no further questions from the participants. I would turn the program back to you for your final remarks.
Okay, Bharat, I guess there are no more questions from the attendees today. Possibly, if there are any follow-up questions, they can write to us and we'll surely share them with you. Thanks a lot for your presentation.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, so I'm sure that people found it useful, which is why they're also asking for a copy of the presentation. We will try to send across whatever is possible to you, all the attendees. Thank you for sparing your valuable time to join us today. I hope you found it useful. We look forward to seeing you again in the next in series of Be Unstoppable. Thank you, and Pragyat, over to you to do the final closing. Oh, 1 second. Before we do that, Bharat, there is a question that has come up. So it says, do you really have a point solution where an end user need not download the driver? He could just connect the Wi-Fi and take printout on the same Wi-Fi LAN?
Yes, we have a solution which is called direct print, right, where you don't have to download the printer. You will have to connect to a technical team. If you can tell me, give me the name and details of the person who's asked me this, I'll connect you with the technical team.
Sure.
But yes,
sure.
there's a mechanism of doing it.
we will definitely share the name of the person and the exact query with you after this webinar, so that can be addressed. So good. Thank you for posting that question before we were about to end. And with this, we come to the end of the webinar. Thank you so much for joining us in today, and have a wonderful evening ahead. Thank you, everyone. Thanks, Bharat, and over to you again.
Thank you, speakers. Thank you, participants. That does conclude our conference call for today. Thank you for your participation. You may all disconnect your lines. And also, please fill up the feedback form at the end of the webinar.